All right, y'all. It's the time of the day that you've been waiting for. It is the one show on air that will take you from the boardroom to the bedroom, from politics to the pulpit, and everything in between with your favorite friends. You are about to join the crew for Fresh Fire as we do what we do all together. Tune in.
What's up, everybody? We're back with another show on the crew, WHOV. We got Instagram, YouTube, podcast. Welcome to the crew, everybody. We got with us Alvian Lyons. Hey, Miss Alvian, how are you?
Hi, people.
You
I'm
doing
good.
all right?
I am.
You doing good?
I am.
It's just Al on here now, though. You know, it's not. It's not.
Bro, I'm not
Alvian
the
Lyons.
professional here.
Yeah, it's not Dr. It's just us.
It's just us.
We got Sia. You know how you treat. You know how you treat earrings on today. Sia, come on.
You keep coming for me.
The Timberland
You
earrings.
keep coming for me. You
I ain't coming for you.
He gonna find out that Southeast.
No,
What that Southeast means.
Southeast Sia.
Shake them. Just shake them. Leave you alone.
I'm coming
Shake
to you.
them. Shake them real good.
Can you stop? I'm talking to her.
I'm trying to help her. I'm trying to give her some advice.
This is not your day job. You're
free
not a
advice.
prosecutor right now.
my
Can I
God.
know?
Advice.
How are you doing?
I am really well,
You
thank
good?
you. I am. I'm
You got
enjoying
women
life.
preaching on? What's going
yes, listen to women preach.
All right, now.
We got stuff to say.
What you gonna say? What you gotta say about that?
Uh-oh. He's like, your mic is loud.
I mean, you got the shirt on. You want us to hear you
Now, I
preach?
can listen to preach. I said, listen to me. Y'all will hear me preach one day.
Ah!
One
Yes,
day.
one day. It's coming. It's coming. It's coming.
All right. And we have over here Tauntaun that's sponsored by
I will shank you.
I Will Shank You.
It is what it is.
Oh, God.
Now people gonna want to know, man, how can they get a shirt, man? You know that, right? Now here's what I recommend. I recommend you put your face on it, you know, and then you put I Will Shank You somewhere over
I
there.
recommend peace.
You better start trademarking that. Somebody gonna get that. Man.
I know. I better be on my game. You know, I'm
better
going to
be.
see Alvin because Al, she'll negotiate a contract
I
real
sure
quick.
will.
Yes.
And so I, need
I
to
got
see
you
Al.
covered.
I
Yeah.
know.
You know I got you covered.
But, you know, I'm thinking about these things because I got quite a few sayings. So I
I'm
got,
just saying.
I'm just saying is one of them. I'm just saying.
So you gonna put that out today? Somebody make a I'm just saying t-shirt.
Saying, I'm just saying.
It is what it is.
It is what it is. I'm just saying.
And Ray needs to get his both and.
Oh,
t-shirt.
yeah.
Both and.
Both
Yes.
and.
Both and. Yeah.
So what's your t-shirt, Al? What's your t-shirt? See, I need a
thinking
t-shirt.
about
Where
that.
we-
Systems.
Yeah.
Facts.
Systems and structures.
Systems and structures.
Systems and structures.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah, we got to work on that. We're gonna have to think about what.
Yeah.
Because Ray, he both and he.
He is both and.
Both/and.
Yeah.
So whoever's listening, we thank y'all for supporting us.
Yes.
But don't just support Taun. we want a shirt too.
Why you being a hater though?
I'm not being a hater
I'm just saying.
I'm
Why they can't support me?
because you're not the only one on the show. That's why.
No, but I'm just saying. They just
They coming to see me over here.
people love it when you just
Makes just
give it-
one shirt. You know what I'm saying? What is going on? And how they know your size, by the way, too? Somebody had
They-
they just show up and it's just the
They're
right size
watching-
t-shirt.
they're
It
watching-
just happened to be the one that fit.
They watching the platforms. We're encouraging them to watch the platforms.
Oh, so somebody looked at you like, oh, yeah, this is an
It's
extra
about-
large right there.
extra large. So yeah, I appreciate that. And I wore it for them. Shout out again to Miss Margaret.
This is how we do this.
Listen.
Black
Oh,
jealous.
Okay, brothers and sisters,
All right, we're
we
going to
got
take
to
a
get to
break
the
here.
show.
All right, we're going to take a break.
All right, we'll get to the show.
And we're going to pray for you and your jealous.
Please.
We are, but that's the little brother. That's the little brother.
That's
Little brother.
my
And
brother.
only child.
Yeah.
I
on the
want a
child.
t-shirt.
Yes. And you know what? And I'll probably go out because I'm big brother and go get him a t-shirt so
Please
he'll be
get a
eyes.
t-shirt that says, I want a t-shirt.
I want a t-shirt. That's what I want. A t-shirt. We're taking a break here. We'll be back. You know, when we were formerly the pastor study, you used to come on to do relationship shows.
Sure did.
Right.
Sure did. You know, I love it.
And you know, you came on a few times, and then we got a whole bunch of calls, and they were like, "Who is that?" That's Alvin. Never mind. Can you pronounce your name to everybody? Because every time people come to me, they call you Alvin. They call you.
do.
Tell everybody.
Okay, guys. All right, check it
help
out.
people real
It's
quick.
3 syllables. All right. So just remember, I'm not and nothing against 80-year-old women sitting in their rocking chair on their porch, but Alvin is a Southern, much older woman in her rocking chair on her wraparound porch of her Victorian home. Okay.
Yes.
My name is Alvian.
Please.
It's 3 syllables said as if it was done in water. Alvian.
Thank you.
Okay.
I appreciate that because people still come up to me all the time. Who that Alvin girl? So like Alvin, maybe? But you were known as the relationship expert
I
in the
was.
former show, right? But now we just the crew. So,
Yeah, we just
but
the
what we
crew.
thought would be good today is have a relationship conversation.
Love those. Those get juicy.
Yeah, love having relationship conversations, and Shankman over here found
Yep.
found
Sure
a good
did.
topic.
One that everybody
Didn't have to
Everybody's
look
talking
hard.
about it.
Didn't have to look hard.
I can't help it if I am a reader and things come up. Because
said you don't read.
You don't.
Twitter is not scholarly. I just want you to know, Twitter ain't scholarly.
I'm
all right?
finding things on CNN as well. You know, I'm a huge news person, so I watch CNN, MSNBC, all of those. Because I just want to know what's going on. No, I don't watch Fox. Because I want truth. Oh, that's right. I said it. I said what I said. I want truth. I
To
want
balance, y'all,
alternative facts.
I watch Fox too because I think it's
Yeah.
important to know what the left hand is doing.
I know what they're doing, but
Oh,
I
the
just
right.
don't want. I just don't have the
The right
tolerance
hand
for
on that
it.
one.
Yeah, I don't have the tolerance for it. But anyway, so are you ready for the topic?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Okay, so I mean, it's all over the place.
Everybody's
Will
talking about it.
and Jada Smith, her new memoir called Worth was released recently, and in the memoir, Jada Smith put some things out there that's just really messy. And so as a result of that, there are a lot of people who have been commenting on it and talking about just the relationship in general. But what I've been seeing on social media a lot, and even on your places like CNN.com, they are a lot of people really, the public perception and public sentiment is really strong for Will Smith.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of vitriol towards Jada because people are feeling like you put a lot of stuff out there to embarrass this man, regardless of where your relationship may be and however your marriage may have been. This was your husband, and this is still your husband. Why are you publicly shaming him or humiliating him by saying certain things? That goes back as far as when she did the red table discussion and she brought him up there. And she talked about her relationship with August.
Right.
And she called it an entanglement, so to speak.
That's right.
That's the word.
Yeah,
and so
that's right.
from that point, people just have just felt a certain kind of way. I think public sentiment about Jada has not been good. So in this book, she put some stuff out there. Like, for instance, she said since 2016 that they've been totally separate. They've been living in the same house, and they, of course, are still married, but they have been separated since 2016. And so this entanglement that took place, well, it took place because she was able to date and see whoever she wanted to see, and he was able to date and see whoever he wanted to see. And she put in this book as well, she did not understand why Will Smith smacked Chris Rock or responded the way he responded, because she was like, I wasn't even his wife. She actually said, I'm not his wife. And when
So they're married.
they're married,
But she's
to
not
her,
his
in
wife.
her mind, we're not even married, because she was like, why? I didn't even understand why he even said wife or referred to me as wife when he smacked him and then said, keep my
wife's
wife
name
such and such out of your
effing
such and
mouth.
such mouth. Right. So she didn't understand why he had such a strong response, first of all, and she didn't understand why he referenced her as his wife. In addition to that, in the book, she called Tupac her soulmate.
Oh Lord.
She's been
Come on, y'all. I mean,
saying
she going
said
there.
that from the
Been
beginning.
She going up there, but see, here's the. It has always been rumored
Yeah.
that the two of them had some type of an affair or lengthy relationship because they were extremely close. They all know that. I think they were childhood friends, and so it's always been rumored that, even though she's always denied that, but there's always been rumored that. But in the book, she called him her soulmate, not her husband, but him. So Will Smith has recently responded to the book, and in the book, his response basically is, we have had a tumultuous, unconditional love affair, basically, our relationship. And it's been both brutal and beautiful at the same time. Or it's a brutal and beautiful display of unconditional love. That's the quote. Brutal and beautiful display of unconditional love. And
No
he
thanks.
called it
No thanks.
No, thank you.
and he called it beautiful. So
No.
that's the term that he used, beautiful.
No.
A brutal and beautiful display.
Just 'cause you coined
the
of
term
unconditional-
doesn't mean
he
that
coined
it's
the
a good
term.
thing.
And it doesn't make it cute all of a sudden
No.
either.
So the thing is, why go through all this, Al? Why? I mean, it's like, if you don't want to be with me, then you don't want to
Just
be
don't
with
be with
me,
me.
right? And I guess for me, why bring me to the red table the way you did me? And why would he go?
Because he was not dragged.
But that's what I want to
Let's
talk
be
about
clear.
too.
Because he went.
He went.
There are a lot of
And
things that he
participated.
has done of his own volition,
Right.
and put in his book too.
Yeah, and people are saying, what does she have on him? Come on, man, come on. We got some men in the room.
He don't care.
What does she have on you? She got to have something on you for real, for you to put up with all of this, and then she makes it so public. The part for me, I think that did me in, is when she said she didn't understand why he responded the way he did at the Oscars. And we all saw the video. She looked at him.
Yes, she did. Like,
She
are
looked
you
at him,
going to handle this?
Come on.
Are you going to handle this?
Because we had a show on that.
Yep, absolutely.
She looked at he was
laughing originally.
She was too.
Yeah.
Originally.
Yeah, he was laughing.
But then there was a
she turned
moment that
around.
switched,
Yeah.
and then she looked at him, and he realized, hold on,
I got to do
Right.
something.
Something happened.
And then almost like a trained animal.
But that's what we need to talk about.
Because it was
hold on,
just
you
the
saying something right
way-
there.
That's what we need to talk about.
Yeah,
the
you saying
way
something.
he hopped up after that look, because there was a clear transition between what appeared to be his
Thank you.
authentic
Thank you.
emotion and then his reactive emotion. And the only thing in between those spaces was the look that she gave. That was it.
No word.
And not a word was exchanged. And he it was almost like he understood.
It was a cue.
Yeah.
Go handle this. Almost like you throw a ball and say fetch to a dog is the way that, that switch was so clear that most of us were like, what in the world? Like there was just such a definitive change in where he was versus how he acted. And it was triggered specifically by her response.
So my question to you is why?
Well,
So you the doctor.
Well.
So I'm looking at you because I'm confused. I'm vexed.
Well.
So I'm vexed. Yes, I said it. Why?
so I'll say that there are probably, and I, for the record, I do not treat any of these individuals, nor do I see them as my clients or patients, okay? This is just merely my observations of things and interpretations,
There you
all
go.
right?
All
Okay.
right.
So I gave the disclaimer. Now, on to my perspective.
Okay.
One, I think that the origin of their relationship is not a romance, first of all. And there is a history of her speaking to her affections for Tupac. And in that history, there has always been this disregard for Will's feelings. Always have been. I happen to also know people who know them. All right. Or I should say, have known them in their earlier years. They're not actively in friendship now, but have known them in their earlier years. And one of the things that had been expressed is that Jade has always been very, I don't want to say, I'll use their terminology, opportunistic.
So Will was one of the highest paid
He was.
black actors that existed in Hollywood. And much like some people would describe the Kardashian experience, where they pick and choose who they're associated with, who they date, who they make babies with, what is going to be advantageous to partner with and advantageous to get rid of, some say that it was not that different where she was concerned. Now, I used to absolutely adore Jada, just to be honest. I mean, back in what was after the Cosby Show,
Different World.
A different world. I loved Jada back then.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm just admitting that much of this comes from an original feeling of affection, but watching someone change over the years also. So then when she got together with Will, her star actually came up higher when she got with Will. As with many relationships, and we've talked about this in previous shows, and unfortunately, it is also common in our communities, depending upon what your social upbringing was. Originally, keep in mind, Jada's mom, whom just as beautiful and lovely as she is now, was an addict when Jada was young. So you're also talking about someone who has a rooted relationship, foundational relationships in trauma and unhealthy connection. All right. So to pretend like that goes away just because we get rich or famous is foolishness.
Yes.
All right. So you still have that underpinning. Then you have an opportunity to be able to come up higher. We've talked in previous shows about 401k plans with kids. All right. Well, that happens also with partners. Hollywood is infamous for partnerships that are business transactions.
Okay, don't lose your train of thought. Don't lose your train of thought. So People.com did a presser where they talked about how Jada shared she never wanted to marry Will, never wanted to get married, and the only reason she got married is because her mom pressured her to marry him because she got pregnant. Now go.
And here we go again. All right. Because about 3-4 years, maybe a little bit longer than that, we also talked about a show where I was telling you all that we were talking about some of the worst advice you've ever heard. And one of the worst pieces of advice I've ever heard is that rich men and poor men both cheat. So you might as well get cheated on by a rich man. We talked about that.
I remember being mad
You
then
remember that?
too.
We talked about
Remember
that.
that?
We talked about
And that was a mom to her daughter.
Yes.
And that was not the first time I had heard that. I had heard that multiple times, that all men cheat, so you might as well get cheated on by a rich man. Okay. So if this kind of foolishness is what it is that we are telling our daughters, the decisions that are being made from the most important person in your life, your parental unit, whatever that may look like, it's going to warp your decision making. So if Jada decides that she's going to marry Will, not rooted in any kind of genuine desire to be connected to this person, and we all know marriage is hard by itself, so doing that lovelessly or by obligation is already setting you up for some difficult challenges when we don't have a society. This is not like arranged marriages in India.
Right.
We don't have a society that's going to nurture the health of that marriage
Right.
despite its origin. So you've got that factor. That, like I said, the dynamic has always indicated that Jada has not had much respect for Will ever. I don't ever remember there being this glowing affection between them. There was this warmth that existed, but it was almost a warmth that was like two friends, like best friends together. And because we have children, we figured out how to do our best friend relationship to include a family unit. But there was never a gushing between them to say that I'm just invested in you no matter what, it's you and me. There was a commitment between them, and they were disciplined. Additionally, you have the advent of Scientology, which we have not recently been talking about, but remember that was also there too. That is the same thing with Tom Cruise and what's her name? Katie Holmes.
So he was a part of that?
So he was a part of that.
Wow.
My understanding is that he was also a part of Scientology, which was part of the underpinning of the popularity of all of the wisdom he used to share. It was like that. Is it L. Ron Hubbard? That like
it's Ron Hubbard.
Ron Hubbard. You know,
Ron Hubbard.
years ago
Yes,
in terms of Scientology, and he used to constantly share like his wisdom and his quotes and. So both Tom Cruise and Will Smith
They're tight.
both got very famous for the quotes that they would have about achieving success. There are countless memes out there where Will Smith, prior to the smack, had all kinds of quotes that people would share around success. And they were thoughtful and they were beautiful, but a lot of them were originated in a certain way of thinking and doing. So you're talking about a foundation that's outside of the norm that any of us would have in terms of developing relationships. You're already starting there. And then when you add this celebrity element onto that, there are dynamics that exist in the celebrity element because you are managed inside of those spaces and your brand is protected inside of those spaces. It's the same reason that Beyonce and Jay-Z, when they were on with Solange in that elevator, he said, you got to be inside of this elevator, not as in the curse word, but he was referencing the wealth that existed inside of that elevator, that we're not messing this thing up because of the economic impact of us separating. We will immediately, much like Kanye diluting his wealth by what it is that he decided to do, you'll immediately dilute your wealth, which changes your status, which impacts your outcomes. So there's a lot of strategy associated in celebrity America with the decisions that are made that are outside of how we outside of celebrity America make our choices.
But see, that's where I wrestle. Because divorces happen all the time in celebrity
They do.
world. And in some cases, like you talking about Kanye Kardashian, she done got divorced how many times? And it has
And every time she's gotten richer.
Shade.
right.
Every time.
Right. So the point is, if Will decided to marry Jada because she got pregnant.
Well, Jada decided to marry because Will loved Jada.
He loved her. He wanted
loves
to,
her.
He wanted
She
to marry
didn't
her.
feel the same way about him.
She decided to marry him.
All right. And then they get married in her estimation for the kid. Because it sounds like she's not really into him. But mama said you need to marry him.
But in the article, she did say that she loved him. She just said that she wasn't going to marry him. She never had any intentions of marrying him. However, when she got pregnant, her mom wanted her to have a traditional family.
Okay, so this sounds a lot like, to me, a situation that happens in our communities all the time.
Like I said.
Right? You got a guy, get a girl pregnant.
Yeah. But it's
gonna get
normally
married.
Do right by her.
the guy that's normally
But
the guy that's being pressured
Right.
Not
to
in
do
this
the right
scenario.
thing.
Right.
But,
Right.
but either way, the pressure is to get married.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And then you realize y'all are not compatible as spouses. It might be better for y'all to co-parent.
Yeah.
But what ends up happening, you have another child, right? And so maybe you feel even more indebted to try to make this work, and it doesn't work. And to me, celebrity and all that aside, am I hearing it right? That's the core of what's going on here?
I mean, on some level, but I mean, the celebrity factor is significant in why those decisions are made the way that they are made. Because you're 100% right. We do that stuff as broke folk. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's just be honest, right? But it's just that when you start putting zeros behind numbers, and these things are worth tens of millions and hundreds of millions of dollars for us to stay together because our brand continues to improve. The kind of money Will was making when those two were the darlings in terms of brown couples. They were the most famous brown couple in Hollywood.
Yeah, but Will was making movies apart from Jada.
Right.
No,
And he was
it's not
getting
with them
money.
to get. But it's just that when you put folks together, we fall in love with things. Like if Jay-Z and Beyonce broke up, they would actually take a huge hit in both of their brands for that. So like there are certain people that we like to see together and we're not prepared to see them with other people. Perfect example, when the Huxtables, before Bill had his issues, but when the Huxtables came back and they were doing marriage and relationship different than the way that we saw them on the Cosby Show, the show tanked. Because we like people to stay in the box that we know you in.
So am I not going to go to see Will Smith's movie because he got a divorce? I don't look at it
Well,
like that.
you'd be surprised.
So would I do that? Like,
As a man,
am I
y'all
going to stop watching
won't.
Red
As the-
Table?
as
Would a
the
woman stop
man-
watching?
As the man, you won't. But there are women who absolutely, if I loved you because I love the way that you love her, and then I find out you cheated, there are folks that will not You see or not?
There are some actors or celebrities that I just don't rock with because of how they
because of what you did. Yep.
But the question is,
no, absolutely.
But here's the question. but here's the question. Here's the question. Would Will have gotten the bad end of that stick? Because I don't think he would have gotten the bad end of that stick.
I think that he thought he would. I think that because a lot of times men, you guys in general, anticipate that society is going to embrace us and reject you. And sometimes it's surprising that it actually works quite the contrary. Because
more
we
often
women
than not
are mad at the other woman. And sometimes the man is the one who is wrong, and we'll take the man's side over the chick that she probably terrible at home, and that's why he had to cheat on her. We do some real interesting things as women to each other.
This vitriol that is coming toward Jada was going to happen with or without that book. Because Will was the darling. Like, let's just be very 100% clear. The truth. And it's so easy to paint her as a diva, to paint her as the B word that people 100%. Are calling her, all of this villain 100%. Stuff. But like that happens to black women on a daily basis.
But hold on, but see,
so you think that's why she wrote the book?
No. I gotta backpedal on that a little bit. Can I say why I gotta backpedal on that a little bit? I would say yes in general. But she has done.
She's earned it.
Generally speaking, in general,
right. she's not referring to what Jada actually did.
I'm not sticking up for either of them because the funniest part of this to me is we don't know neither one of them, and we don't know the truth behind either one of them.
Because I want to go there. Because I want to go right there. Because the reality of it is there are things that she has done on the record. Let's just deal with on the record. Just facts. There are things that she's done on the record and things that she said publicly. Because he's been, if anything, just saying, like, I love my wife, I love my family, I adore my wife, blah, blah, blah. She's the one that has been taking the gut checks.
That is a fact.
Every so often, you will see a gut check. Like, for instance, even in this article was written in 2019. And she said, even after 21 years into marriage, she and Will, they don't label themselves as married. She was telling us then. They don't label themselves as married and adhere to what their views are as suffocating expectations.
Wait. But we knew they were weird from the beginning.
There's a difference between weird.
No. What I'm saying is they have been different since day one. Mm-hmm. They talked about their openness. Now, they didn't talk about entanglements until more recently. But even far back, they were talking about we are doing this thing called marriage differently than
and they were allowed to have crushes.
They were allowed to have crushes. They raised their children very differently than other people raise their children. But now you man. She's telling you the truth.
Let's go deeper. Let's go deeper. Let's just look. Because here's the thing. I deal with evidence. I don't. Yes, I deal with just evidence. I am used to.
That's why you got that shirt on.
That's why I got the shirt on. So I'm used to taking the words that you spoke, and then we dive into your behavior as a result of that. So let's deal with the evidence. The evidence says that they said that they don't adhere to what they will call suffocating expectations of conventional marital paradigms. Instead, it's more of a life partnership. I don't own him. He doesn't own me. He has to be his own person first and vice versa. Love is freedom. That's the word she used.
Can I just let y'all know?
Is freedom.
With all the maligning of her good name, most of the people that I know that are under the age of 40 would subscribe to that.
Sure. And that's the problem. Because what I see is
unfortunately, it doesn't work.
Come on.
Might I add, it does not work.
It does not work. But what you're doing is you're aligning yourself with culture. The culture now. You know, because here's the thing. Women want to be loved. Men want to be respected. And when you don't respect us, and particularly publicly, you disrespect us, or you're gonna have a bigger problem than not loving me. Because you're gonna have a so this young lady has done some things to disrespect this man publicly time and time and time again. And I got to ask the question, what did he do? y'all. Come on, let's keep it real. We're gonna keep it real now.
But wait, when you say
let me ask the question. Let me ask the question.
Wait, before that, because I want you to define disrespect.
I'm gonna tell you this with disrespect. When you're talking about you screwing another man in my house, and it's my son's best friend, and you publicly putting it out there, or you disrespecting me?
Was she the first one that put it out there, or it came out and she had to address it?
It came out, but she dragged that. He went voluntarily to the red table. Again, you didn't let me ask my question. Because my question is, what did Will do that he is trying to keep her quiet about? Because he did something. I'm sorry, he did something.
Well, so there are two things that could be true. So there is a suggestion, because even in that interview, and she says to him, you know, we've both had our she definitely, but she didn't out it. But the insinuation was strong in that interview that let's not pretend I'm the only one out here doing crazy stuff. Right. Like, so there was definitely that. And we don't know exactly what that included. But the other thing that I would acknowledge, and we've talked about this in previous shows about relational dynamics, while it may take men more to fall in love, I argue that when y'all fall, you fall harder than we do. Because it's so hard for you to let yourself get there that when you get there, it is very difficult to reel you all back from that ledge.
Is that why they lose their minds?
And, you know, some would argue. But because
I'm looking at you and I'm like, why are you quiet over there, Negro? Because
I'm trying to process all of this, to be honest with you.
She just said,
hold on, I want to let her finish though.
I'm just saying, don't let Southeast see us just like that. She just said, we lose our mind. And let me just for the record, because since you quiet over there, all men don't cheat. Can I just put that out there?
No. But the evidence shows that y'all lose your minds once you fall in love.
But I just want to put that on the record too. All men don't cheat, and we don't lose our mind on a regular basis.
Y'all fall. Let me tell you. But that's what I'm about to say.
That's the problem.
That's what I'm about to say. I'm telling you right now, you all will sleep on a rock. You will live under a bridge to be with some crazy chick that's turned you out. And because I'm the mom of a son, a young adult son now, I have seen the depth through which a man who thinks he loves a woman will go. And if she's the wrong one, that is exactly why at the beginning, because you know we always go back to the Bible.
Come on.
It is no accident that Adam, he knew what God told him, and he still took that bite because of what? A woman. Okay? From the beginning of time, we have had enormous influence. What a woman can do with a man, and that's what actually ticks me off most about my fellow women who are in heterosexual relationships. You have more power and influence in that relationship than you realize, and you give up that power and that influence every freaking day.
Or abuse it and get them to do dumb stuff.
Or manipulate it. That's exactly right. There is so much power a woman has with a man who is vulnerable to them. So much power. Right. You can make your man amazing, or you can absolutely destroy him with the things that you are doing. And you know it's true.
I do know it's true.
You know it's true.
I do know it's true.
Yep, you know it's 100% true.
But I just need to ask some questions here.
Sure,
right?
ask some questions. I've got some answers for you.
So if the relationship was always atypical, open from the beginning, that's what y'all say?
Right.
Then is there cheating in this situation?
Well, so
how can there be cheating?
So here's the thing. It would not be considered cheating if they were not legally married. So it's really based on how we're using definitions, right? Because the truth is, and for some of y'all women, you're gonna get upset with me when I say this, okay? But if you ain't married, you still single. To the rest of us, to us married folks, you still single.
To that moment.
Okay. So, and I am not saying that it's appropriate to have someone believing that you're being faithful and you're not.
That's the lie.
Okay. But I just want to go on record though. You still single until you get married.
Something. Can you help me with this? Why would that upset some women that you're still single?
Because a lot of women, particularly in a society that doesn't do marriage as often and as frequently as it used to historically, there are a lot of women who want to believe that my boyfriend and the commitment he should have to me is the same level of commitment that a husband should have to a wife.
Oh, well then,
that's nonsense.
Okay,
that's
that is
nonsense.
Genuinely perceived.
Wait,
that's
and
crazy.
we
The
try
fact
to make
that we're calling it nonsense, but it may
try
be
to make it
nonsense
equal.
in general, but a lot of times the woman believes that because he's telling her that he has that type of commitment when he doesn't.
So if I say I got $1 million waiting on you, and all you got to do is just walk over here to this room.
If you are telling me we are in this together, we're committed to each other, it's just me and you, don't call it nonsense for her to believe it.
I'm sorry, I'm like Beyonce, put a ring on it. I'm just sorry.
Yes.
I'm sorry, you got to put
It's
a ring
different,
on it.
Sia.
It's
no,
different.
I'm not. First of all, this is my conversation.
Different, Sia.
that ain't my problem. I'm just saying what I heard.
I'm offering a perspective
some data and some research.
Because
yes, you can say that, right?
Yes.
We together.
Yes.
Yeah, you can say that. I'm gonna be faithful to you, but it's a whole different level.
Come on.
When you get married,
that is an
you can just walk
absolute
out
fact.
the door
But here's
with no consequences whatsoever.
People be lying, and we need to acknowledge that.
It's true that people be lying, but the other thing too, owning the heterosexual woman perspective about a lot of nonsense relationships, we also, the way that we are created, designed, is we can take a seed and make it into an entire forest, okay? So sometimes men are only sharing a seed of their love with us, and we are trying to call this an entire forest. Mm-hmm. He didn't give you a forest. He just said he enjoys spending time with you. Mm-hmm. He just said that he loves what it's like when you guys are together. And you chose to hear that he loves me and he wants to be with me forever and ever. That was your rewrite of what it was that he said. He did not say he loves you and wants to be with you forever and ever. Yeah. But because you got the seed, you watered that seed with your passion, your emotion, and we're wired that way. But the thing that is our strength can also be our weakness.
Yeah, it is important to ask many questions.
Oh, absolutely.
To get a very clear understanding.
Right. And we often speak different languages. Right. So if you need a translator, get one, baby, because that's not what he said. Mm-hmm. So we have to be honest about the fact that it's not always that men are lying to us. Sometimes we're lying to ourselves based on what he said to us.
Say it.
Okay,
and then there's sometimes that you just are just fully not expecting your boyfriend to get another woman pregnant, right? I mean, can we say that there's levels to this?
Yes, there are levels.
And then the other thing we have to be honest about too is that going with the cheating thing is he could have just left.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You don't have to intentionally know that I believe something and intentionally do something that clearly indicates that you didn't want to be with me anyway. Right. You could have just said you didn't want to be with me.
But again, if it's open, is it cheating?
It's not if it's open to both of us.
If we have an understanding here.
The problem is if it's not mutually open to both of us, then it will be perceived as cheating, and we're just assuming monogamy.
Or it could also be the proximity of August to the family. It was the son's
that
best
took it to
friend.
Yeah, that took it to a whole nother.
It could feel like, okay, if you had a relationship with this stranger that I would never see, never have to see or anything. That's different.
Can I go a little deeper? Mm-hmm. It started before August.
Oh yeah, August is definitely not first.
Yeah. She called another man her soul tie, her soulmate. Yeah. Which you know what? I said soul tie.
Mm-hmm, because you're talking about it spiritually.
Come on,
that's why that came to you. Because soulmate that we use as these common language. Mm-hmm. Those of us who understand spiritual origins of things recognize it.
It was a soul tie. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So she has this soul tie with Tupac. Mm-hmm. And so you married him, but you got this soul tie with him that you, to this day, still feels that he's your soulmate, and you've been married all these years to this person right here. So you already were in a situation where, unless you were willing to break that soul tie, you were already in a situation that was destined to not succeed.
So Ty, you telling me, I mean, listen, being a pastor, I hear these marriage stories all the time.
All the time. Mm-hmm.
You telling me that a person married somebody that won't really their true love? This happens all the time, man. Right?
I don't care if it happens all the time. The question is it going to succeed?
Well, to the point of when I ask about open relationships, there are a lot of people that say, "Look, I know what you're doing, right? Just don't bring that mess home."
That is exactly
right.
that.
Just don't bring it in my face. Don't show it to me. I know you out there, right?
But respect me enough.
But respect me enough
to not play in my face.
Not let me see it.
Yep.
I cannot.
Be discreet.
But this happens all the time.
Yeah. Oh,
but you're going to see it.
Oh, yeah.
What you mean I'm going to see it? If you go across town, if you go out of town, if you go wherever you do, just don't let me see it. Don't put it in my face.
We have people in our community with multiple families. Let's be honest.
We know that. And so, like I said, you're going to eventually see it, though.
Yes.
It's going to eventually show its face.
Yeah, because everything in the dark comes to the light.
So, you know, whether it's a phone call, whether it's a text, somebody showing up at your door, knocking on your door and say, hey, such and such is my daddy.
That could happen. Or that ancestry DNA.
That ancestry DNA.
Yep.
Come on.
What you mean, sister?
Franklin.
Yeah.
But the notion,
we just watched this with Kirk.
We just watched it with Kirk.
But the notion that two married people are living privately separate lives and going off and doing what they do is common in many situations, man. This is nothing new, other than the fact that celebrities are part of it.
But as I said before, because you don't want to split the wealth. And even if the wealth is, you know, at a much lower level, and it's just that getting a divorce means that we have to maintain two different financial households. And it may be financially advantageous for us to stay together. They even talked about it on the Breakfast Club. They were talking about what they call a ghetto divorce. Or a hood divorce. That's what they call it, a hood divorce. And that's folks who are legally married.
Yes.
But have families and have, I mean, they're still married to each other, but they didn't want to spend the money for the divorce, and they didn't want to have to deal with all the separation of assets, responsibilities, who's got this, that, and the other. So they just separate and go about their business, but never actually divorce.
Correct.
And there's so many of those that exist.
Now, the only thing that's interesting in this case is you said that they're separated, but he never left the house.
No, they made a pact with each other that they would never divorce and that they would always basically function as a team.
Right, they would always support each other.
No matter what.
They would always support each other.
And they argued to come out there.
That book shouldn't come out. So there you go.
That's the violation.
That's the violation. I'll be quite honest. That's the violation.
That's the violation.
Y'all mad at her telling the truth?
No, that's the
violation.
That's the violation because here's the thing.
And that's why he calls her her best friend. He says she will forever be my best friend.
Right. So if you guys are doing this, that's your agreement. That's your life. That's fine. But when you now openly talk about it and you put it in a book or you put it out on Front Street and it's all slated your side, where it makes you look like an idiot, because that's how he looks. He looks like an idiot because she going around just having sex with whomever and doing whatever, tied to whomever. And we know he's doing stuff, of course. We know we ain't crazy. We know he's doing stuff, but that's not coming out. That's not what's been spoken about. It's just what she's doing. And so he looks like an idiot, and it makes everybody ask the question, what does she have on you that would make you be so quiet?
I mean, he might look like an idiot to some, but what is bothering me is the people that know nothing about the relationship choosing sides and treating him like he's a victim, and I'm not sure a victim of what. Like,
no, I don't think people treat him like a victim. I think you got women treating him like a victim.
Yes.
You got brothers saying, you got brothers saying,
so the egos,
dude, what she got on you?
That's exactly.
You got brothers saying, because brothers are saying, ain't no joker. You know, they ain't using the word joker either. But they say, ain't no joker gonna be sitting up in the house, letting that go down the way they go down. Especially, he's the guy with the money. It ain't her. She came into the relationship with him having the money,
which is my point all along.
Right. So it's like, what she got on you, bro?
But it's his fault. Why did he sign a prenup, man? See, this is where I get to NDA. If I got the money.
But I will argue back to what I said. You are underestimating what happens when a man loves a woman.
This is where his lawyer should have come in and said, "Look, I don't care if it's sunshine or not. You gonna sign?
Look, it's sunshine and high.
We are not doing daylight today.
We are doing it because we keeping it real. Say it, Kev. Say it.
I don't care what she got.
Say it.
Oh my God.
You gonna sign this prenup? You gonna sign this NDA?
Y'all don't understand.
Because we know celebrity marriages rarely last anyway.
Throw it up in
And
the
she didn't want to get married either.
But wait,
Come on, man.
do y'all think that everybody should get prenups or just celebrities?
No.
So what's the difference? It really is just the money.
I'm glad you brought that up because
Okay,
I have
can
a
I tell
hard
you the
opinion
difference?
about that.
I'll tell you the difference.
I have a hard opinion about that.
My relationship, I base my marriage on biblical principles. And so as a result of that, there is what I call a threefold. God got to be in the center of it. If he ain't in the center of it, it ain't gonna work. It's just that's how I see it. So as a result of that, it's a lifelong decision. We have said this is to death.
So you don't even care about a prenup because y'all just gonna stay married.
Y'all
do us part.
Together.
Right. We gonna work. No, here's the thing. You have to work your marriage. Your marriage ain't something that you go pull off a tree and then boom, is the wonderful piece of fruit that you eating. You got to work at your marriage. You got to do things to continue to nurture your marriage.
So who's teaching that?
That sounds good, but let me just tell you the truth. That sounds nice and holy. But here's the thing: when you and I got married,
two different people,
Right, two different people. Right.
No, Matt's here. No, I'm sorry. Let me rephrase that. When you married Matt and I married
Patrice, we got married about the same age and what we were doing.
There you go.
But I did.
We ain't had nothing.
But I did.
Yeah, we were both.
I was an attorney and my wife was a doctor, and so we had money.
Well, I ain't
matter of fact, we had a 2 week honeymoon in the house. So, but I'm saying you
y'all were grown when you got married. Huh? You guys were grown when you got married.
When we got married. And so I'm just saying,
I was broke.
We were children.
I won't broke.
Yeah, we were
I won't nowhere near broke.
Just getting out of school.
So I'm saying we had to make a decision about the marriage that we wanted. And here's the thing, it is not something that you just walk into, and you don't sit there. And we went through premarital counseling. We sat under mentorship. I mean, this is something that we really worked at before we crossed that bridge. A lot of times people don't even know.
But the difference is celebrity here. You weren't celebrity.
No, we weren't
you
celebrity.
You had means, but that's why you didn't figure that Don would ever write a book on you, man. Something happened.
No, but your question, that wasn't your question.
You understand what I'm saying, Tom?
But hold up, but your question was, then should every day...
That was her question.
I'm answering her question. The question was, should everyday people do a prenup? And I'm saying, no, that never... Because here's my thing. If I'm going to get a prenup, then I'm thinking in the back of my mind, this may not work.
But statistically,
I don't care about statistics because again, I'm a person of faith, and as a person of faith,
I have a different perspective.
I'm a person of faith.
I can honestly say
I can't speak for
everybody else, right? But just how you all did it.
Marriage,
no.
I can't speak for your marriage.
No, not me.
I can only you
see
can only
what you chose to do.
Okay, so what would you say?
I have a different perspective because yes, we were broke, as Kev acknowledges, because we were 19 and 20 years old when we got married. Okay,
we were make sure you make
right. The ages
I ain't know you at 19.
Respectively got married, right? So we of course had no prenup because what are you going to take? Like the Toyota Corolla, right? Okay, so we didn't. But I can say to you that if God forbid in some alternate universe that does not exist, if we were not together and I were to get remarried now, I would absolutely require a prenup. Okay, so I'm just saying. Okay, I absolutely would require a prenup, and I believe. For anybody getting married now who does have means, that a prenup, especially if you have substantial enough means that it would make somebody want to marry you potentially for those means. Exactly. And that doesn't mean it's necessarily millions, but you could have saved $500,000 because over the last 10 years, from 20 to 30 years old, you were consistently saving. So by the time you get to 30, you got $500,000 you worked real hard to put away. Right. I would say if it was my son or daughter getting married, I would say you absolutely should have a prenup. Every dollar you make after you get married,
Right.
Yes.
That's
we
different.
share that 50-50 if
Exactly.
something happens.
Exactly.
But everything I worked for before I even knew your name,
Right.
Why do you feel like you're entitled to part of that? Because that's
that
my
is
other issue.
for both genders.
Exactly, in both directions.
Then
Why
you need to know
would
the law
you
about
think?
that. But you need to know the law about that.
Okay, talk to
because
me
the
about
law about that in Virginia, that's not the case. What you have to do is you have to, first of all, if there's a divorce, it's 50-50 in Virginia. And it's 50-50 from the time in which you got married. So if you walked into that place with a mansion, guess what? You walk away with a mansion. If you walked in there with your Ferrari or whatever, you walk away with that. However, you may have a certain lifestyle that you have now grown accustomed to.
I find that funny too.
Yeah, as a
I
result
find
of
that
the,
to me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I'm just breaking it down.
No,
as a
okay.
result of the marriage.
Right.
Now, based upon that lifestyle, you could make the argument that you are entitled to spousal support to continue that lifestyle.
That's
so
still
wild to me.
Right. Well,
Why you got domestic
Because
situations?
what the heck did you?
Let's just be
what-
honest.
I pulled you out of the dirt. And
Listen.
you're going to talk about what you got accustomed to?
But before you go there,
Honey,
before you go
McDonald's was
there,
just fine for you 2 minutes ago.
Well, let me finish with that. So but we defining prenups and all that. So let's break it down and make sure that people have a clear understanding. Because prenup doesn't mean because you had $500,000, I get half of that when we divorce. If you had $500,000, that's your $500,000.
Right. As it should be.
However, half of whatever you earn together, that's split. That's the foundation.
I'm worth that.
Okay. Then
on top of that,
you got top of that, if you have become accustomed to a lifestyle, the court could not saying will always, but the court could grant spousal support for a certain time frame because you become accustomed to that lifestyle. And let's say you may have given up some things in order to be a part of this marriage, or you may have walked away from this career or this job to be a part of this marriage. All those things factor in. And so the court could give some type of spousal support for that for a period of time. Secondly, we got audience members. And so, and then if you add children to the mix, depending on who gets the children as far as the primary custodian of the children, that person will also get child support for that child, including.
Let me speak to this. Because my heart's hurting right now. I got to speak to this.
I'm going to give you an example real quick before you go there.
Okay, because I'm...
Halle Berry. Halle Berry has been divorced twice.
Yes.
And recently she has had to pay, I believe
Aubrey?
it's $10,000. I think it's $10,000 a month to her daughters, the father of her
Aubrey,
daughter, the last one.
Yeah, the model.
Yeah. And here's the thing. She doesn't have custody of the other kids either.
Yeah.
So I'm like, well, what's going on with you? That you can't have custody of your kids.
Yeah.
But a girl, normally the courts are
normally send it to
more likely to give it to the mother. But she lost custody of her as well. So in that regards, he is getting child support of the $10,000, and then he's also getting some more money for spousal support.
And you're supporting the reason why Will is staying. That's what you're doing. Because I'm looking at all this and I'm saying
it's cheaper to keep her.
It's cheaper.
It's cheaper to keep her.
This is what we gonna do. All right. I'm gonna go down the hall.
You going that side? I got the east wing. You got the west wing.
So what happens?
We gonna take care of the kids.
So what happens?
But we ain't doing all that.
Yeah, in the mid wing.
So what happens down the road? And let's say either she wants out because she doesn't have any loyalty to him. So let's just go ahead and put that on out there.
Clearly.
So what happens when you have accumulated because he's continuing accumulating money.
Of course.
And wealth. So what happens down the road, that price tags get bigger and bigger and bigger and
but
bigger.
if you choose to dissolve the marriage,
right. If she walks away from the marriage, she can't. Yeah, if she walks away from the marriage in California, she ain't.
Can I just let y'all know that the married people in this world are doing a horrible PR job for those of us looking, because like people are looking at this, and because of the algorithm,
I wouldn't look at celebrities though.
No. But I'm just saying, like when people think of marriage,
people
and
do this
Will
for $30
and Jada come to
$30.
So you said they do it for $30.
For $30.
There are so many people out here that are doing a horrible job of presenting marriage as a viable option in life.
Listen, I just want to admit something real quick, y'all, because Matt is in the audience, and when Anton said that you have to maintain the lifestyle that they've grown accustomed to,
that man living good,
and he plays golf 3 times a week right now. Okay,
that man living good.
He was like, yes, there's a lifestyle.
That's right.
I want y'all to know right now, because you're just gonna. And Anton, I'm saying that you're here. You just locked me up. I want y'all to know
I locked
that
you
if
up.
anything went wrong, and he thinks I'm gonna maintain this lifestyle for him, and suddenly the population goes down by 1%.
You got tape today.
I did it. I did it. I just want you to know I did it.
Did I give her some advice?
I'm confessing. I did it because
I'm telling you this.
Ain't no way.
What?
I'm just saying,
that's the week. Never again.
Well,
After you messed this up,
the General Assembly, you changed the law.
No, ma'am.
I know you one person.
That dude's going back to work.
I'm just telling you.
You messed this marriage up, you going back to work. Okay,
That's
like
the
I'm telling you
laws.
right now, you going
We
back to
have
work.
That's the laws.
I can't tell you how many people I have sat with in my congregation
I know. Isn't it terrible though?
who have contemplated getting divorced because they know the marriage ain't
And look
gonna
at the
work.
numbers.
And they said, "There's no way I'm gonna give my spouse half of my military
That's
pension,
exactly
Now that is
my retirement.
that is real.
That is
There's
real.
no way
100%.
I'm gonna do that." So, Pastor, I don't know what you gonna tell me, because I know the marriage is not working, but that person is not getting
Half of everything.
all of what I went to the military for. I got to go on all these tours of duty and
100%.
do all this kind
Get
of stuff.
shot at,
They get shot at, and then they get half.
But all of them don't take half.
That's 100.
Because I was just talking to somebody just this week, and they were talking about the very same thing. It was a guy, and they got divorced, and things got a little rocky, as far as some resentment areas. And he said, she worked hard for that. He said, I don't want that.
That's the exception to the rule.
Okay, but can I
He said,
also
I
tell
want
y'all
those are
that
mature
everybody
folks.
knows that
Those
it's
are mature
usually
folks. That's real mature.
It is usually half of the military stuff, right? So before he married her, he knew that was what. So why aren't we doing more work on the front end before the marriage?
Amen. Say that.
Why are we not doing it? And then leave us alone, who are in our 40s and not married, because we haven't found the person that we will be willing to give up half of our pension.
But wait a minute, I think most people respect individuals who decide that they don't want to be married. Just like
and decide not to have children.
And decide not to have
I
children.
respect it now.
Do you know how many people, strangers, come up to me asking me, when am I going to get married and when am I going to have kids?
And you should tell them it's none of your business. Mind your neck.
I say a version.
That's another shirt. Mind your neck.
I say a version of that. I say a version of that. But please do not be out here thinking that we are respected for our choices when we've already talked about how women are typically defined or identified as single or married, mother or not married.
I understand that.
And I just want, for the record, for everybody to say, now I'm looking real smart when y'all talk about Will and Jada and losing half your pension, getting cheated on.
I would say you are looking really smart in only waiting for the person that you believe is the person that you should be with.
And if they don't come, you don't compromise.
That's right. There you go. That's just maturity. If they don't come, they don't come, but don't compromise.
But that right there, Alvin,
and the
we've
rest
had
of
this
us need to keep our
conversation.
mouth shut and mind our own business.
Right.
But the church tells us
No, Alvin, we've had that conversation more times.
And what's
than not.
that
is when I'm sitting with a young woman and she's in her 20s or 30s, or she feels like her biological clock's ticking, or she feels like there's pressure to get married.
It's a lot of pressure.
And I say to her, you got two options. You can settle with somebody and know you're really not getting what you want, but there's no other option available. Or you can keep your standard until God sends you the right one. Right. And Ton, I would tell you, even for those who go to church,
a lot of people to settle.
more often than not, people are settling.
Yes.
Facts.
Because they don't want to wait.
For girls' night talking.
I don't get that. And
because companionship and pressures I don't get that. Can I tell you why I don't get that? Because I deal with my career and just with everything that I have to do outside the house. I deal with so much drama and problems. It is my job to fix problems. That's what I do for a living. And so as a result of that, I want peace when I'm at home. I want peace. Yep. And I just can't come to a home where there's no peace and there's no joy. Yep. I can't do that. That's my sanctuary. Amen. And so if I can't go home and there's some level of peace and joy there, and I got to deal with all the non-heaven outside my home, that I just couldn't do that. You can't do it. But a lot of people do. And so this is what Will and Jada have decided to do. There ain't no peace there. So what a lot of couples do, I get off work, I ain't going straight home.
So where you gonna go?
I'm gonna go to Target, I'm gonna go to Walmart, I'm gonna walk around, I'm gonna join a club, I'm gonna join some organization. I got a meeting at night. I'll go home at the end of the day and I just go home and lay my head down and get up and do the same. That stuff happens all the time. And so
how about let's sit down, let's work this out. Let's sit down and let's get it together.
You're asking for folks to be mature.
Right. But for some people, working that out is I'm going to go down the hall. That's it. And we out of time. We got to run. Another great show, y'all. Leave your comments on our Facebook page, YouTube. Right. Leave your comments, let you know what to think about the show. We got to run. Until next time, be blessed to be a blessing to someone else. Peace.
Okay, I hope you loved it as much as we did. Thank you for joining us for another fire show for the crew. Listen, you can catch us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and any streaming platform that you're using for your podcast. Share with a friend, expand the family. Listen, we're trying to do this thing with all of you as often as we possibly can. We're looking forward to you joining us again for our next show.